Sleepy town settling for the night, where the Owens women live their lives. And it's about time that the back porch light comes on at that house down the street, at that house on Magnolia Street.
Hey, Witch, hey!
Hey, Witch, hey!
You know there's going to be some Hey, Witch, hey merch down the line right now.
Yeah.
This
Little cold brew, like logo.
Okay. So, yeah, witches, one brunette witch, one redhead witch, witch hats, cold brew, silhouetted. Hey, Witch, hey, on the bottom. Make it happen. All right.
Make it happen.
Make it happen, Kristina. You're the artist in this.
Oh, I thought you were saying
operation.
Make it happen on the bottom of the shirt. That's okay.
No, I meant you make it happen. Do it.
Okay. I'll figure it out. So very sleepy today.
Yeah, it's a sleepy day.
I wanna come at this with a gusto, the normal gusto, but I don't have it because I don't have cold brew.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I'm also just drinking water. I woke up so dehydrated today. I was like Billy Butcherson.
You were like Billy Butcherson. Do you get in my Marco, do you get the nap time shakies? Do you ever feel that? Like when you like your body knows it's not supposed to be sleeping, you fall asleep and you wake yourself up and it's like your internal body is like vibrating.
I've never had like vibrating, but like I've definitely have like jolted awake, like feeling like that falling feeling. Like I have had that quite frequently. But not the shakies. That's some weird. What the hell?
The nap time shakies. Yeah, I don't know who told me it was your astrological body trying to get back in. Like I said, I wasn't doing anything productive, so
that's scary.
I don't know what I was doing out that whole time.
Yeah. You were out seeing the sights.
But we want to welcome you to Magnolia Street. I'm Kristina.
I'm Justina.
We never introduce ourselves.
Yeah, I just realized that. And we're the Stinas.
We're the Stinas.
Oh, hi, nice to meet you guys. We're the Stinas, by the way. 7 episodes later.
I feel like I don't know how anybody else listens to podcasts, but I start at number 1. And usually you get the intro there and you recognize their voices. But some people don't work like that.
I know. We should probably start introducing ourselves from now on.
Okay. Awesome.
We are here. And today we're talking about, this was actually a random generated topic, right? We pulled on our last episode at the end of our episode. So nobody picked this. I didn't pick this. Kristina didn't pick this. The patrons didn't pick this. This was a random generated topic for the month, and it picked 90s witch fashion.
Yeah.
So that is what we're talking about today.
90s witch fashion. So this is gonna be interesting because Justina and I were just talking about how we have totally different experiences with this because we're not the same age and we kind of grew up in different decades. Yeah, that's the cross.
That blows my mind. I always thought we were like the same age.
I know, because you, like I said before in like episode 1, you look immortal. You don't look like your age.
It's the blood of virgins.
I got some city miles on my face, so I look a little older, I think.
Yeah, man, good genes. Don't smoke. I don't even wear my sunscreen.
Wear your sunscreen. Crazy.
Yeah. Like if I'm outside and like, I'm outside for a significant amount of time and I'm like in the garden or working on stuff, like I'll put on my sunscreen. But like on the day, you don't have
like a daily lotion with a sunscreen in it?
Nah, bro. I'm so lazy. I wake up, I shower, I slather on whatever I can find that's on the counter, like a Jergens, or like it's not even like a face lotion.
It's just dish soap.
Just dish soap. It's dishwasher powder.
Yeah. You just crack a Tide Pod in half. Like and drip it like those vitamin C drops.
That's exactly what I do.
We should also talk about like our 90s makeup choices.
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that in a second.
But do you want to do this and tell people about the dream you told me about the other night? I thought it was so fucking funny.
I don't know, it's kind of embarrassing.
I want to hear about it.
I had a dream that I was at this, like, I guess it was a podcast convention, like a bunch of different podcasters were, I guess, getting together or whatever. But like, I never saw the inside of this convention. Like, I never got to the convention part of this dream. I was just in the bathroom and I was in a stall, and I heard a group of girls in the stall next to me, and I was like, oh, that voice sounds really familiar. So I peeked my head over the stall, and it's fucking Charlie from Waba. Mace is not even there. I don't even know where she was, but she was not part of this group of girls. It's probably like 2 or 3 girls in the one stall. And I said something to them. I can't even tell you what I said to them. I don't even remember. But then I like kind of like ducked my head back down, and I was going to the bathroom doing my thing. And then I hear them whispering, and I'm like listening, and I'm like, what are they saying about me? Like I had a feeling that they were talking about me. And I think one of them was like, yeah, but I heard that she doesn't wash her hands.
That's such a grade school thing to do.
I know, right? So I was like, ew. So I get out of the stall, and those girls were about to leave, and I saw them, about to walk out the door. And I just said, I went to them, I was like, excuse me. And then they turned around, and I was like, I do wash my hands.
Just for the record.
Just for the record, I do. And then they left, and that was it. Oh, that's right. They were like, I was like, who told you that I didn't wash my hands? And they were like, oh, some girl named Kristina. And I was like, ew, you bitch. But I was like,
how could you throw me under the bus like that, Babich?
I thought you were my partner. No, but it wasn't you, Kristina. It was another Kristina that I like had grown up with, but like I'm not friends with anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the fuck? That's so random. Yeah. We have new patron, right?
We got a patron!
Kitty M, welcome to the Magnolia Street fam.
Kitty M, welcome, little witch. Yay! We'll insert a sound here at some point.
Clapping, like cheering, stadium cheering.
Just handguns firing into the air. That was my dream last night. Oh my god. So I had a dream.
Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird how that like one word can trigger a whole friggin' dream sequence?
I don't know if I need to go buy a shotgun or what, but like I was in my dream outside my house, and I have to take the dog out at night to go to the bathroom. Like right before we go to bed, I take him out. And in my dream, I was doing that. And there were like 2 people in my yard trying to come at me. And for some reason there was a shotgun outside, which I do not own. And I started I grabbed it and I ran inside, and I had that like panic of having to lock the door. There's a really good, one of the last Spooky Sods Witch Pajama Hour did, Corey's Cauldron, Corey talks about how he used to play a game with his brother of like one of them would be inside and the other one would be outside trying to get in, and the one had to lock the doors. Dude, this triggered such like a childhood trauma for me. I don't know what it is. So like if I ever have to lock a door, I always panic. Like I push my hand against the door to make sure nobody's going to push it in. I don't know what happened. It's so scary. So anyway, I had a dream that people were trying to get in, and I was firing a shotgun, and it was like not doing anything, but the person was like so close to me that I could put the shotgun like in them, and they like glitched when I touched them with the shotgun. And so I started waving it in them, and they were like, they were glitching out. And I remember it being like a pink red hue. It was so weird.
That's so bizarre. That's very strange. I don't like that at all.
So no. Kitty M, these dreams are dedicated to you.
Oh, you're gonna pass them on to her. Now she's gonna start dreaming of this shit.
So sorry. We
just send our patrons glitter bombs and bad dreams, yeah. We want to give a shout out to we already gave a shout out to Mears, but we wanted to do a little spotlight on this project that he's got going on, right? It was a little coincidental, kind of like how we kind of put 2 and 2 together. It kind of took us a minute, but
we should tell that story. So Mears is one of our patrons, and super sweet, super nice. And you had said a while ago, because next to his name it says founder of Hero.
Well, Hero is a platform that we have been using to compile all of our source links for the show notes for below our episodes. When you see it on Spotify or I guess Apple Podcasts, wherever you find our episodes, if you scroll down to our show notes, we have one solid link, and if you go to that link, it takes you to this platform called Hero, and that platform has all of our links that we put in that entire episode. So we knew he was a patron. He signed up for our Patreon. We saw founder of Hero next to his name, right? So I was like, hey, is that the same hero as the site we're using for our links? And you're like,
And
yeah.
I was like, no, that world would be way too small. I bet like it could be like a nonprofit. It could be fucking anything. And then a couple days passed and I was like, he has a hero space. I'm just going to call it here. It's hero.page. And I was like, I'm just going to ask him. I'm going to ask him. And he was like, yeah, I like to think like I helped create it, but yeah, that's my site and that's how I found you guys. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? So I started talking back and forth with them. And I can't say enough amazing things about this site because it's exactly what I wanted to use for our platform. Because I know a lot of other podcasts link their stuff below, like look at the links below. And I hate having to go through all the links to search for something.
Yeah.
So here, this hero.page allows you to create your own page. And like we're doing for our episodes, make clusters of organized links. So for each episode we also have like a main Magnolia Street page. So you can go and see all of our episodes, and those links are all separated, and you can add pictures, you can add drop down menus. So if you go to like our Meet the Stinas episode and click on our hero page, there's a tabby for Justina with all of her stuff in it and a tabby for me with all of my stuff in it. In the organization, it allows you to link to Instagram, it allows you to link to TikTok and YouTube and edit. I love this site so much.
Our Virgo bone.
It tickled. It slapped me in the face with a leather glove. Tickled my Virgo bone.
Yeah, so we just wanted to give a shout out to Mears. You're doing an awesome thing with your platform and we enjoy it very much. So thank you for joining our Patreon. We really appreciate that.
We really appreciate it, and all the work you're doing on here. It's such a fantastic idea. I don't know who else needs to use links like this. It would be great for like college kids who are writing papers and have to organize their sources and shit like that. I really love this site.
Yeah. So thank you, Mears, for keeping us nice and organized.
Thank you, Mears.
Tickling our Virgo bone.
Dude, let's talk about some witch fashion. And this, we had a hard time deciding, right, between if this was going to be just like witch fashion, including practical magic, or all practical magic. And I think practical magic is going to have its own episode.
Like the Owens fashion.
Yes, for their costume design and everything like that. But we touch on it in this one. But do you want to talk about our personal journeys through the 90s?
Oh, geez. All right. Well, we've already established that I'm like so ancient compared to you.
So you can go first.
Oh God, thanks. So when I was 13 when The Craft came out, and that was kind of like my first. Oh, by the way, this is 90s witch fashion, not just any witch fashion, specifically 90s witch fashion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I was 13, that's when I saw The Craft for the first time. It's probably like around 1997, I want to say. I think it was in like 7th grade or so. And I just remember when I saw that movie for the first time, I was like, they made Catholic school look so cool.
It's not that cool.
It's not that cool. Well, I didn't go to Catholic school. I went to CCD, which is like an after school Catholic program.
Mm-hmm.
And also I must preface this by saying I hated going to that. Like I went begrudgingly, like, that's just something that your parents put you through as a child. And
I went through it through high school because I went to a public high school, and I hated CCD more than I hated Catholic school.
Yeah.
Because it was like on a Thursday night after I'd already been to school.
Yeah. I think mine was on like a Wednesday or Thursday after school. So you're there till like 7 o'clock at night. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember how. It probably was only an hour, but I remember like those classes just feeling like they lasted for fucking ever.
Forever.
It was torture. So I just remember like when I saw The Craft, I was like, oh, they go to Catholic school. They make it look so chic. And a lot of the girls would like, I was in public school. A lot of the girls would walk around with plaid skirts on. And like we looked like we went to a prep school because that's just all the shit that the girls would just wear. That's what was in.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure I had like a couple of those plaid skirts. Sweater vests were a pretty popular thing with like the little collar popping out.
Oh yeah.
We had those chokers. I remember clear purses were a big thing. Like clear. They were kind of like, have you ever seen like those jelly shoes?
Yes.
Kind of like a clear jelly shoe, but a purse, like a purse. The one I had like smiley face flowers on them.
Do you remember the chokehold that smiley faces had on the 90s?
Oh my God. Patches, purses, earrings.
Yeah.
They were everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know why smiley faces were such a
I
big.
had a smiley face birthday party. I was looking through pictures earlier today to look for shit to talk about. And I was like, whoa.
I was a baby one year for Halloween, and the pajamas that I wore were all smiley faces. The print was smiley.
Adorable.
Rosary bead necklaces were really big.
Mhm.
With the butter. This was cool. This is a little later on, like probably closer to the Y2K era. The
Mhm.
butterfly. Do you remember the butterfly?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I could never do my hair in the twisties, and there was always a girl in my school that had like her mom was really good at hair, and I was like, and those headbands with like the teeth
Yes.
that like combed your hair back.
Yeah. Oh my God, I had so many of those.
Scrunchies, snap bracelets.
What else did I wear? Oh, those big ball, those clasp chains, those like huge, like pure
Yes.
balls. Like those were a huge deal. Racer stripes were a big thing. You remember those joggers with like the stripes down, like the Adidas pants?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are big. Oh, and the shoes that the girls wear in the craft, they're like black Converse with the star. They're like low tops.
Yes.
Yeah, those. I had a pair of those. And I was like, oh, I look like the girl from the craft. Yeah, so the craft was a pretty big influence, I guess, on the way that I dressed in 7th, 8th. I just wanted to be them. So that was like kind of like my first foray into the world of witchery as far as fashion goes.
That's an awesome way to start.
Right? Yeah.
That's such a rock and roll way to go.
It didn't even start with Practical Magic for me. It was like The Craft was the only movie I ever watched, and I had it on a repeat every single freaking day. Yeah, I was obsessed with that movie. Obsessed. So
yeah, then I would have been much younger when I saw that. So I was not allowed to like wear that stuff in school because like even going to a Catholic school, there's no like leeway in the uniform. So we couldn't wear like a white shirt and the skirt. It had to be a specific polo shirt, the skirt, the knee highs, and shoes that were not like too high or open toe or anything that. However, in the springtime when it got fucking hot as hell, the girls were allowed to wear shorts, which I would have worn all year long because I fucking hated wearing a skirt. Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the knee highs. I remember knee highs. Those were a big thing too. So like I said, Catholic school fashion was really in.
Yeah. So that happened to me much later in the photo I sent you a long time ago of me and my friend standing together with a few other people. So I pulled these out so I can scan them and we can do like a slide through Instagram post of like 90s witch fashion and then all of our pictures.
I have to because
you should. It's a very different trip for both of us through the 90s. But I think that was in 8th grade. Like the picture that I'm referencing was in 8th grade, and I was trying to do like the craft. Like I had a black shirt with like a pointy, like a white shirt underneath it, and then the skirt was black, but underneath it had like the schoolgirl. It had like the metal rings on it and like the schoolgirl thing. I was in a Catholic school. I had every opportunity to wear a Catholic schoolgirl skirt every day, but it wasn't.
What's that red and black thing that you have on your skirt?
That was like it was like a pleat. So when the pleat was open, it would show the red, but when it was closed, it was all black.
Did you shop at Hot Topic? Was Hot Topic a thing?
Oh yeah,
I remember.
Oh yeah.
When did Hot Topic come out? I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I do remember when it was like every school year, my mom would like take me clothes shopping for the new school year. And I don't know if it was 8th grade or going into 9th grade. I specifically remember like the mall was about to close and I really wanted a sweater vest and nobody sold it. And I remember she was so patient with me that she would we were going to all these different stores. She was like, okay, we'll go run to Penny's, go run to Steve's, see if anybody has it in like the little boys section. I remember me just like running on my own to go find a sweater vest, which I did not.
Those were big.
Yeah, they were big. Not big enough for me to. Well, maybe it was a Harrisburg thing.
Yeah, man, I remember being big on the sweater vests.
So in the 90s, I was a little tyke. I wasn't born until 89, so I was in 6th, 7th grade when 9/11 happened. I don't remember, but
girl, that makes me feel so old. I was a freshman in college.
Whoa. I don't remember being able to pick out my clothes. So I have a lot of big collars. I will tell you what had me by the balls fashion wise in the 90s was Rip Curl. I don't know if you remember. It's a Camilla Belle movie called Rip Curl. and
No, I don't.
she goes to like Hawaii. She's like a little a surfer girl. I
Aw.
don't know about the 90s, but everything was like hibiscus flowers everywhere. Like surfer chic was
Okay. All right.
everywhere, and
Yeah,
I was
now
about it.
wait, what grade were you in when that came out?
Oh fuck if I know. I don't know. Let me look up when it
Were
came
you
out.
more in high school? Because I feel like I remember all that stuff.
No.
That stuff I feel like made its place when probably around like 2001 or 2002. Because I feel like around that time I was wearing a lot of that stuff too. So I was already in college by the time that stuff had all started
Oh,
coming
it
out.
wasn't called Rip Curl. It was called Rip Girls.
Rip Girls. Okay.
Rip
Do
Girls. Okay,
you
that came
remember?
out in 2000.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
It was like right around Y2K, the millennium, when like surfer chic was a thing. I don't know if
Yes.
you remember Blue Crush with
Oh,
Kate.
yes.
What's her face? What's her face?
Bosworth.
Bosworth, yes.
Michelle Rodriguez and the
Michelle
other girls whose
Rodriguez.
name I can't remember. Dude, I remember wanting to buy that poster, like a big Blue Crush poster
Yeah.
in the mall. And my mom was like, I am not buying you a poster of girls in bikinis. Like, Mom! I had like ripped out magazine. My walls were plastered with surfer stuff.
Surfer Girls. Yeah, dude, Surfer Girls were so huge in like 2000, 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
I remember there was a show on MTV. It was a reality show about surfer girls. And,
Sweet.
they had to all like ride the biggest wave in like Hawaii or some shit to win this like medal or something. And it was a competition show and they were all up against each other. And it was on MTV and it was on during the summer. And I
That's
remember being
sick.
so freaking obsessed with it. And I would wear my little Lilu shirts from PacSun. I've never surfed in my fucking life, but I was all about it. I was all about it.
Johnny Tsunami. I know, dude.
Johnny
I got made fun of relentlessly in grade school because they were like the guys would be like, "How are the waves out there today, Babich?" Because I'm just like
are the
looking.
waves.
But you know what? I ended up in California and I got to go surfing. So
That's
there's
awesome. See,
that.
I've never been surfing, and I did a little stint in LA back in 2009, and I never went surfing. I think I'm too afraid of sharks and like the actual ocean, like stuff in the ocean. It freaks me the fuck out. It's a legitimate
Yeah, that's a legit fear, especially near
horrifying.
LA. Yeah.
Horrifying. And plus,
What else was
Pacific Ocean water is so freaking cold.
It's so cold. Yeah.
Freezing.
Yeah, it's very cold. I'm trying to think what else. Like I didn't. I had two brothers growing up, and I did not want. I did everything in my power not to dress like a girl. I don't know what I had chip on my shoulder I had, but all of my looking through my photos, like it's all like jorts and those pants with the zip off knees. I had like a army green pair of those swooshy pants that
Swooshy
zip off at the
pants.
knees and become shorts.
Well, do you
And
remember
then
skorts?
yes, I remember skirts.
I was all about the skorts.
I did not want to wear a skirt. Don't even put a skirt in the same room I was in growing up, man. But like that, anything I could inherit from my older brother, I wanted. Anything that had like Adidas on it, anything he was wearing, I just wanted to dress like a boy. I went through a phase where I had a bandana on all the time, like a red bandana.
I feel like I went through that phase too.
Yeah. You did?
Yeah. In high school, I'm pretty sure. Because you know why? Because I was like super obsessed with Aaliyah. Do you know
really?
Aaliyah? Yeah. She was all about the bandana and she wore like her hair, like one piece of hair was like covering one of her eyes. And, it looked so pretty. And she wore like those Tommy Hill boxers with the emblem showing, like the waistband showing. But your pants had to go just below that. So the boxer band has to be
shows. Yes.
Yeah, and you had to wear like baggy cargo pants.
Okay.
Yeah, and a really like teeny tiny top.
Dude,
that was my high school style.
We're just talking about the 90s, not even 90s.
Yeah.
But do you remember those sneakers with like the sole was like 4 inches high? And you just twist the fuck out of your ankles. Maybe that's why I have weak ankles, is those things ripping me up.
Were you doing backflips in them? What the fuck?
Dude, I'm not coordinated. The next life I will be graceful. That's what I say. In the next life I will be graceful. I had like I looked like the pictures I was pulling out, I looked like a dad. Like I was dressed like t-shirt, jorts, white New Balances, and like really high socks rolled down.
Okay.
God, okay.
Oh God, okay.
Yeah.
I remember getting really into like polyester was a big thing back then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the polyester, really bright patterns. the 60s basically resurfaced in the 90s. And I remember when I would like buy all that stuff, my mom would like roll her eyes at me and she's like, "Ugh, I can't believe the stuff I used to wear as a kid is coming back."
Listen to us now.
And it's us now.
Oh
Walking
my
through
gosh.
Target, I almost had a heart attack recently. It was like all clueless skirts and blazers. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Crushed velvet is like
Yeah.
back now.
Oh, I was gonna say, going back to the bandana thing. Do you remember bandana shirts?
Yes, I had them. I had those too.
You had them? Good for
Mhm.
you. It's very Coyote Ugly.
Yes, I was all about that movie.
I
And
love that
also
movie.
Destiny's Child, I think, rocked a bandana shirt from time to time. Pretty sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I was super into Destiny's Child. Christina Aguilera rocked the bandana shirts.
Mhm. Pink, I think Pink did too.
All of those early 2000s pop stars. That was the fashion.
The like one practical magic like kind of fashiony thing that I ended up buying a skirt at one point that looked so, it was just the skirt part, but it looked so similar to like the fabric that the dress at the end of the movie that Sally's wearing has, you know, where she's like coming out of the garden and meets Gary and they kiss. That one, it was like that same fabric, and I felt so beautiful in it.
I had a skirt like that.
A sixth grader. You did?
Yeah, I had a skirt like that, and it was like it had like the floral, I think, like red rose prints. That part was probably polyester, and then it had like an overlay of like black lace, like that one, right?
Oh,
That's
beautiful.
is
Yeah,
that the print
exactly.
you're talking about? Yeah,
Mhm.
I loved that skirt so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also had a like a cardigan, kind of like the one I'm wearing, but it was crocheted. It was black. It was crocheted, and it was like long sleeve, came down to my knees, and it was it was like, oh, I feel like I'm right out of the craft in this crocheted black cardigan.
So the absolute chokehold that witch culture had on the 90s is insane, especially after the satanic panic of the 70s and 80s. Can you say hello, Richard Ramirez? By the way, did you see American Horror Story? I think it was like 1980. What's the name of the season? 1985 or 1986? I forget what it's called.
6.
That season, yeah, it's all about Richard Ramirez and that whole spiel. So one of the movies that was credited with turning the tables for witches and shooting them into pop culture popularity was Teen Witch, a late 80s teen comedy that was basically on constant cable rotation. And now this movie came out in the 80s, so I was probably like, I don't know, like 5, 6 at the time. And this movie stars I think her name is Robin Lively. Her name was Louise Miller in the movie.
Okay,
and she was played by Robin Lively. Do you remember Poltergeist?
Not vividly, no.
Okay. There was the woman who played Madame Serena. Her name is Zelda Rubinstein. She is the same woman, basically the woman who is the exorciser of the, I guess, the demon.
Oh, okay.
The psychic medium who's kind of trying to get Carol Ann to come back through the TV screen, or come back to the
Carol
light.
Ann.
Go to the light, Carol Ann, or what? Yeah. I think they do a spell or something of the sort. I don't remember exactly what happens, but they do some kind of spell that helps Louise become the most popular girl in the school. And you know, she kind of goes from like, you know, just
my gosh, Madam. Yes, her voice.
Yeah.
Is so recognizable. Yes.
So she goes from just like a very plain Jane, quiet, very conservative girl in high school to this girl who's, you know, suddenly at the top of her class, not grade wise, like I'm talking popularity wise.
Yeah.
She's wearing all like the most popular 80s frills, and she's got the big 80s hair.
She is the Heather. She is the Heather of the Heathers.
Ultimate Heather. This was the movie that I was like, ooh, witches. She made that happen. She's a witch. This was my favorite movie, as one of my favorite movies as a kid. Because I remember seeing this. I always remember just like stopping and watching it. And I was just intrigued by it.
So I guess what we're saying is, like, in pop culture through the 80s and 90s, witches were everything from like menacing to enticing to seductive and funny. We see Jillian. I think Nicole Kidman, I always forget she is like a comedian. I always think of her as like playing in The Others or Cold Mountain or something, but like she's funny. I always forget she's funny, but we see them, we see evil witches, but most of all, they're fashionable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So some of the focuses we're going to talk about, like we're going to touch on practical magic. We kind of talked about the craft, how big that was in our fashion choices. We got Sabrina the Teenage Witch. We got Charmed. We got Halloween Town, Hocus Pocus, and Buffy. So some of these, like, I wasn't a Buffy watcher and I didn't watch Charmed. But you said you didn't really either. You said you watched a little bit of Charmed, but not much.
I remember, you know what? I remember watching the premiere of Charmed.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I remember watching the very, very first episode that ever came out, the night that it came out. I remember.
Whoa.
Because I remember seeing like ads for it and like commercials for it, and I got super excited. I was like, "Oh my god, there's a show about witches coming out!" And that was right on the heels of The Craft. And when Charmed came out, when I sat down and watched that first episode, and do you remember that the intro that it used the same?
The song, yes,
same exact song from The Craft. Which one was it? Was it the one by Love Spit Love or something like that? What was the name of that song? But I remember hearing that song. And I was like, oh God, I'm going to love this. I'm going to love this show.
oh God.
What was the name of that song? The Smiths, I think, did the original one.
I like the Smiths. How soon is now?
Is it How Soon Is Now? Yeah.
I am the sun.
Yeah. That's it.
The air. I like the Smiths a lot.
That's it.
Criminally vulgar.
And my voice doesn't even go that low.
I gotta catch you earlier in the morning when you have that raspy smoker voice going on.
Yeah, I'm too awake now. My voice does not. Yeah. I do remember like just being kind of taken aback, like, wow, they ripped this off from The Craft.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was a little pissed, a little intrigued.
How good is that soundtrack though? The whole soundtrack of The Craft is great.
It's one of my favorite soundtracks to this day.
So we're gonna get to those, but I think before that we're gonna just talk about this blanket term that has been flying around as of late. I don't know. What do you think in the last 2 years? The term Whimsigoth.
I had never heard of that term before. I don't know. Probably within the past year. I've never heard of this.
Yeah. And it seems to just encompass like the witchy style of the 90s, this Whimsigoth thing. However, like we'll talk about it in a minute, but Whimsigoth to me is like what it says, whimsical gothic. But when we're talking about like The Craft, that to me doesn't say whimsical gothic. That's like you said, schoolgirl chic meets like leather meets like BDSM, like chokers and like hooks and things like that. So very different, but that's what we got in store for you.
So yeah, I had never heard of Whimsigoth until probably you brought it up to me. I may or may not have heard of it before then. The term that I was kind of, I guess, going down the rabbit hole on in the past few years or so, probably since I started my YouTube channel, was the whole cottagecore aesthetic.
Right. So Whimsigoth to me is like more celestial, a little darker.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And I found a little article from, is it Vancouver? VancouverisAwesome.com. VancouverisAwesome.com gets this credit. So they want to say, so in regard to everything is cool.
Okay.
When you're part of a team. That one.
Yeah. I was hoping you understood that reference. Otherwise,
everything is awesome. I'm a nanny. I think I saw that movie, or I was.
Oh, that's right. That's
theater.
Right. Okay.
Me
too, but not with children. I'm pretty sure I saw that with friends.
Oh. So the Whimsigoth, it's the VancouverisAwesome.com. They say that the style is characterized by velvet dresses, tights, flowy silhouettes, and celestial moffats. So like when I see suns and moons on shit.
Wait, Kristina.
What?
Motifs.
What did I say?
You said moffats.
I'm dyslexic.
No. At first I thought you said Muppets. I'm like, what?
And this kind of started over.
Just started over.
No, I'm leaving that in. Fuck it.
Okay.
So this kind of started with Stevie Nicks in the 70s and rose to prominence in the 90s. Are you all right?
I'm good.
You didn't know I couldn't read going into this project, did you? You didn't know that anybody could make a podcast and it's free and you could just put it on the air. But okay, so surprisingly, hey, I think this is where it's at. So like in the last year, surprisingly, the 2022 Renaissance, I was going to say resurgence, but see, it would have been the same thing, of the aesthetic began in the early spring and summer with TikTokers and articles offering tips on how to dress Whimsigoth, like part whimsical and flowy, part gothic and vampy.
Okay.
Still, its roots were found in witchcraft and all the things spooky yet cozy. It's safe to say more people are likely to adopt this style in the fall because, like, lots of layers, I would think.
Yeah.
Fall movies like Practical Magic and The Craft, which feature whimsigoth fashion and interiors so prominently, have firmly cemented the look in the autumnal pantheon of vibes like pumpkins, spiced lattes, and flannels.
When you said layers, my mind right away went to, you know, that scene in The Craft when they're on the bus and they're going to that I guess that little place in the woods.
Meadow.
And they get off the bus and they're like, we are the weirdos, mister. They got on their little cute little velvet tops. They got on their leather jackets. They got on their cute flowy little skirts.
They got little cap sleeve t-shirts underneath spaghetti strap dresses.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And probably some kind of platform shoe. And,
chunky heel.
Very, very flowy, very earthy, very 90s for sure. Yeah, the t-shirt that's what I forgot. Yes, you're right. The t-shirt, little cap sleeve t-shirt with the spaghetti strap was a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
I probably wore those every single day in middle school. I can't believe I forgot about that.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The aesthetic is bewitching in every way. The billowy sleeves, sweeping skirts, and layers add drama, while ethereal details like moons, stars, suns, and zodiacs give it an otherworldly charm. Tights, lace, and corsets add a touch of sexiness and femininity. Did I say that right? Femininity or femininity?
Femininity. I think it's a typo in there, though.
Femininity. Paired with chunky boots and wild hair. A lot of the look is imbued by an undercurrent of owning personal power and sexuality in whatever way appeals to the individual. This theme is also true of contemporary portrayals of witchcraft, which is why the two go hand in hand. And I must say, I remember it was either middle school or very early on in high school, the tank top with the velvet, like the zodiac symbols. I think I had one of a hand, like the Hamsa sign. I had like a blue, like a spandex shirt, and it had like the blue velvet hand in the middle.
Okay.
And I think probably like roses, like velvet roses and stuff around it. Like I remember lots of like crushed velvet.
I hope you can find some of these photos.
Yeah, they gotta be floating around. But I was very, very into all of that stuff.
The first like whimsigothy thing I think I ever saw, and this was not a word. I'm so glad they came up with a term to encapsulate this. But my friend Sally, the first time I hung out with her, I think it was like 4th, 5th grade, something like that, and just went over her house and she was putting up new curtains, like just hanging new curtains, and they were like sheer dark navy curtains with little suns and moons all over them. Like that you could see through, and I thought it was the most beautiful like celestial thing. I was like, these are so cool.
Yeah,
they were really neat.
The celestial print was pretty big back in the 90s. I will say that.
The gothic in Whimsigoth is more of an amalgamation of goth and boho. I nailed amalgamation.
You did. That was
and it was a true representation of the horror subgenre or architectural style. These themes aren't rooted in death or fear. Instead, they focus on the earth and nature and the supernatural in a more comforting sense. It's a type of pseudo-spirituality and offers equal parts nostalgia and hope.
Yeah.
There are a lot of hyphenated words in that paragraph.
All right, so the color palette consists of rich jewel tone purples, greens, and reds with earthy browns and oranges, as well as black and white. And overall, the vibe is distinctly retro and cool.
Oh, contemporary examples of Whimsigoth fashion in action would be the songstress Florence Welch of Florence and the Machine, who's also known for her haunting voice and complimentary music style choice. Olivia Rodrigo also donned a Whimsigoth outfit for her Grammy performance lately.
The makeup is smoky and sultry with a dark lip and heavy liner, just like in the 90s, and the hair is usually windswept and effortless, either down or half up, half down. And the half up, half down was a huge hairstyle in the 90s.
Yes. I think later on when we talk about Sabrina Teenage Witch, I don't think I included it, but it said somewhere like she was the queen of half up, half down. And do you remember those like fake scrunchies that had like the hair, like the spiky hair, so you could pull your hair up in a bun and put the scrunchie on, and like the fake hair came out of the scrunchie? So I guess what we're saying is if you're looking for some style inspiration, look to Florence Welch, Lisa Bonet, and of course, Stevie motherfucking Nicks for your Whimsigoth fashion inspiration.
The queen. She is the queen. So that takes us to our next topic, which is witchcore. Now, I guess there's a term for everything now. Did all of this like core talk stem from TikTok? Like, where'd all this core? If you just slap core to the end of any word, like it's a style.
It's an aesthetic, yeah, for sure. I just heard of goblin core the other day. I'm like, I could get down with goblin core. That's kind of like a darker cottage core, you know?
Okay, right. All right. So witchcore, much like most aesthetics, the name witchcore, it offers a lot of information about what the aesthetic is before we even investigate.
All right.
As we see with many core aesthetics, witchcore has its own ties to the cottagecore movement, but it is a lot different to the style's dainty, light, and breezy vibe. So I guess this is along the lines with like a Whimsigoth type of style, right?
It's like dark academia.
Right, yeah.
It's like a new thing.
Yeah, yes. The dark academia thing is really big right now. I'm seeing all over TikTok, all over YouTube, and I'm about to paint my whole living room.
You are. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I want to do that green black color that's really in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, witchcore draws inspiration from witchcraft, often including ideas such as potion making and spell casting. And I feel like Harry Potter probably had a little to do with the whole dark academia vibe. The aesthetic can also include elements such as gems and gem collecting, as these are also believed to have special powers. So I guess as long as it has some kind of magical thing about it, it can be considered witchcore. Is what this says. So unlike the feelings of nostalgia promoted by cottagecore, witchcore is centered more around energy, self-growth, and the unknown. It's more than just dressing up like a witch for a Halloween costume, and it extends to an entire lifestyle of mystery and intrigue. And there are lots of ways to display the witchcore aesthetic in your life, and we'll discover those in a little bit.
So would you say, I have a question. Yes.
Yeah,
so would like the Practical Magic House be cottagecore and witchcore?
I would guess so.
Because they have the conservatory, which is very witchcore, like very functional. I mean like their house aesthetic.
Right, yeah. I would say so. I guess it sounds like to me anything that has to do with a magical way of living falls under the witchcore umbrella. But it also falls under the cottagecore because everything is very light and dainty and quaint feeling. Everything feels the word charming, I think, is what distinguishes the two, because you have the witchcore, which could probably be it could be dark and like that occult kind of feel to it.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Yeah. But like that cottagecore, it just has that like that cottagey feel, that quaint feel. It's very
witchcore is cottagecore with a mood, like with an attitude.
And the cottagecore is just a lot more, I would say, charming.
Okay. Yeah, when I think cottage, I think cute and charming and quaint.
Right. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So I think it's a combination of the two, I would say.
Okay, cool.
I mean, that's just my opinion, but if anybody else, if you have your own opinion of what what umbrella do you think the practical magic aesthetic falls under? So I guess if you guys
it's more like a Venn diagram. It's all three. It's all three, and practical magic's right in the middle.
Yeah.
Whimsigoth, cottagecore, and witchcore.
100%. And I think that's probably why, like, it's just a central. Practical magic is such. What do they call it? Like a
amalgamation.
Yeah, it's like a mixture of all those things, which is why I think it's such an iconic movie for witches,
Yes.
To this day. And it just spanned from the 90s until now, and it's not going anywhere,
I think it's solidified in our pop culture. I just want to say real quick, you're so crisp today. That new mic is like killing it. You sound great.
Nice.
Tell us about some witchcore visuals, please. What are we looking at?
All right, so the first element of the style we're going to take a look at is the visuals. So these visuals are a key aspect of the aesthetic, and they're what makes up the basis of the style. So without visual components of witchcore, there's no way to create a visible sense of the style. And they're a way to promote the vibes.
The vibes. The Luna vibes.
It's the vibe. So they're a way to promote the vibes and atmosphere of the aesthetic. Not to mention they can be a great starting point for building your interior and decoration around your space. Just filling your space with a witchy atmosphere is just witchcore in and of itself. Generally, the main colors displayed through witchcore include black, orange, green, and purple. The characteristic Halloween colors, which are dark, dull, and eerie. The shadowy appearance of these colors adds to the spooky, mysterious characteristics of the aesthetic and complements the appearance of other visuals. So there are a lot of visual motifs within witchcore, such as forests, which is something about the dark atmosphere and has a spooky touch. Lanterns and candles.
Love a lantern and a candle.
Love them. Yeah, exactly. These are more traditional. They're a more traditional light source, but they also have a very gothic appearance. So they add to
Get yourself a lantern that makes a statement, man. It just brings your room to a whole new level.
Yeah, and if you can't have open flames where you live, they make those really realistic plastic flames now. That have you seen?
She's shaking her finger at me. The flame is dancing. It's dancing.
Yeah, they make those really cool fake flame candles now, which you can make use of those if you can't have an open flame. If you're in an apartment or a dorm room, you can still bring this aesthetic into your living space
with mood lighting, soft lighting.
Exactly. So glass bottles, the bottles used for potions are the perfect visuals for spells and witchcraft. When I was a teenager, you know what I used to do? I used to go to the dollar store.
Yeah.
And I used to just like load up. They would have like those little trinkets, like little spell bottles. I would just like load up on those, and those were around my entire room. Like my dad.
Oh, neat. Were those the little bottles that you could do like sand art in?
Probably.
You remember the different shape? You get the star or the heart.
Yeah. Also, you know what I used to do? Snapple used to make the do you remember those like element drinks?
Yes.
Like fire, earth, air. Like they had like Snapple made these really cool bottles, and they were all like a different element. And after I was done with drinking the juice out of the bottle, I would save the bottle and I would like put in my own different. I would fill it with water and put different color food coloring in it.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
I would have them, I just like put them around the bookshelf I had going around the perimeter of my room. My room was so celestial. Like growing up, it was celestial. It was tie-dye. It was, it had those like big plastic blow-up chairs that were like my room was the epitome of a 90s room. Okay.
That is freaking sweet. Aaron likes bourbon, and bourbon comes in really cool bottles.
It does.
Sometimes I don't even look at the label. I just buy it for the bottle, because I then will take the label off and use it for propagating my plants, because it's got the little tiny top. You know, it's perfect, and I line them up in a window, and it looks really pretty. And it looks fucking witchy as hell.
Yeah, man, save it. Yeah, save your bottles, guys.
All the bottles. I have used so many Classico pasta bottles.
Yeah, because those are like the Classico sauce jars. They're kind of like a mason jar, right? It's just, it looks like a mason jar.
Yeah. It's a great size.
So, yeah, man. Okay, so guys, recycle, reduce, reuse.
That's right.
So the next thing on this list is moss. This green fuzz, along with other similar plants, can help create a gloomy setting.
You know what we wanted to do? Oh, real quick. We wanted to make a moss bath mat. Have you seen the DIYs for those?
No.
So like when you get out of the shower, you step on the mosses, and your drip drops feed the moss. But I feel like my cats might get the wrong idea.
So it's real moss?
Yeah.
As a bath mat.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Freaking cool. Yeah. Especially if like your bathroom aesthetic is like that, like I guess forest vibe.
Yeah. Mine's kind of foresty. I tried to do a moss walkway when we first moved in. And it was working, but you gotta water it. Like it needs water for sure, and sunlight.
Yeah, and I was watching a TikTok recently of this woman who was trying to like, I guess she was trying to grow her moss patch, and I guess her husband knew that she liked moss, so he picked the moss for her and he gave it to her, and she was pissed because she was like watering that one little patch trying to grow it, and he picked it, and he was like,
trying to make her happy.
I guess he gets points for trying though. Like I thought that was funny.
So the cool thing about moss is like you can put it, like I would go out and like forage for it. And since it's like a little carpet, you just very gently pick it up, and then I would put it in a bucket, move it to the next place, dunk it in water so it had a nice drink, and set it down on the path. And like smush it on in.
It'll resettle itself down into the earth, right?
At those narrow root systems.
Yeah. I've never heard of that bath mat thing, but that sounds freaking cool. But I would imagine my cats would probably just
start clawing at it. Yeah.
Another thing that you can incorporate into your space is mushrooms. These are a perfect combination between nature and magic with connotations of fairies and pixies. I love
adorable. Yeah, that's sweet.
We went to North Carolina this past summer. My cousins have a lot of cabins up there, and the whole time I was there, I was just I was going ham on just mushroom photography on my phone. I was just taking all the mushroom photos.
Sweet.
And I just made one mushroom porn album of just mushrooms.
They're adorable.
Yeah, they are so cute. There's so many different ones too. It's crazy how many different mushrooms there are.
Such a fun guy.
It is a good one.
Okay.
All right. So next up we got tarot cards, which these visual clues about reading into the future have a lot to do with magic and the supernatural. So if you know how to read, if you don't know how to read, if you just like the visual aesthetic of the whole tarot, I guess tarot aesthetic, right? If you like how tarot cards look, maybe blow up your favorite cards.
Exactly.
Frame them, hang them in your space. That's a great way to bring in the whole tarot aesthetic into your space. I also like to prop up my favorite ones if I'm working on a certain energy for the week or whatever. I'll prop that card up on my altar space and just kind of hone in on those energies. Next up we have crystals. This is a big one, and I feel like crystals nowadays anyway has probably been one of the most common ways that people have kind of cross-pollinated cross-pollinated.
Grabbing her new mic.
I thought it was my water bottle. I thought it was my
the same color.
Yeah. So I feel like crystals have been a very kind of not a gray area, but they do a good job of kind of cross-pollinating the mainstream with the occult, because they sell crystals in home goods now. They
sell them in Five Below.
Right.
They have a whole incense section with crystal kits and stuff now.
Right. You can find them anywhere basically. So if you want to bring some of those into your space, you can charge them under the moonlight, use their special properties for healing and protection. This list says that this is the ideal example of magic, and I guess it would be considered the ideal example because it is such a mainstream thing now.
That's the perfect word. It's if this is an aesthetic you're going for, fine, but it's so fascinating and interesting. Definitely explore and research, delving into the pagan path. It is an amazing rabbit hole. I'm going to use your word rabbit hole of an endless, you're always learning something new. So definitely, and crystals, stones, rocks, gems, minerals, compounds. Oh my God. If that is just the tiniest little bit of what crystals are. So they're cool to have around your room, but maybe look up what they do, how to take care of them.
Yeah. And that goes along the lines with the whole the plants, the moss, anything that's kind of living in your space, because like you said, crystals are a live thing. They carry a certain vibration. Certain ones do certain things. Also plants are on this list because they're a source of life and can bring healing benefits too, just like crystals can.
Something about crystals also, if you're not ready to dive into your local crystal shop, if there's a piece of jewelry you wear with a stone or a rock in it already, or your wedding ring or anything, look that up. What what's the word I'm looking for? What attributes do they bring into your life? What correspondences do they have typically? Right. If you have a diamond, if you have a sapphires and rubies, just look it up.
Yeah.
You don't have to go out and buy something.
Right. It's cool to know what you the magical properties of what you already have lying around your house. It's cool to know all that. All right. So next we got potions, and it says, of course, there's no way we can forget about potions. They're the epitome of witchcraft itself. And I mean, this could be a magical potion. It could be a potion that you use in your daily skincare regimen. It could be whatever you want it to be. As long as you put it in those really cute dollar store bottles and make them look aesthetically witchcore.
There you go.
You could doll them up. All the potions, lotions, and potions you're already using in your daily regimens, you could put them in cuter bottles and
that's true.
Make it more aesthetically pleasing if you would like. Next it says cobwebs.
Okay.
Yeah, a little age in cobwebs is very gothic, so these slide perfectly into the theme.
Okay.
Um,
I will say I do leave the little spider out in our conservatory alone. They can have that corner because they take care of all those stink bugs and all the the plant gnats that fly around. So they can have, it's fine. They can have that spot.
Yeah, I kind of did that this summer on the front porch. I have a little like garden table that I sit out and do my little garden crafts on in the summertime. And there's like, you know, in the corners, there's spider webs and typically, or cobwebs. Typically I would like get rid of them, but like I saw like other gunk all like shoved up in there and I was like, well, they're doing their job. I'll just let them be. So
Okay. There was a tiniest little spider on my husband's windshield on the truck we were driving somewhere, and it was like on the passenger side. So I was like, I was like watching him go. I was like, oh shit, this little bro's gonna fly off. Little bro like stuck his spider web booty to the windshield and like caught the wind and around the side of the car. He like floated around the side of the car where there was like a little indentation where he could hang on, so I could see his little butt string hanging. I was like, I really hope he makes it. Aaron was like, I don't think it's the wind that you have to worry about. He's like, I think it's when you open the car door and then close it again, you're probably gonna decapitate it.
Oh,
I think he made it. I'd like to think he made it. He was spelunking.
So next we have wands. So it says there's nothing more witchy than the tool used for casting the spells. So next on this list is tea. So it says, remember those tea leaves which predict the future? Yeah, there's something unusual about tea.
Oh, cool. Okay. Who wrote this?
I don't know who wrote this, but this is a funny list. So yeah, if you have some loose tea leaves, store them in one of those cool dollar store jars. It all comes back to the dollar store jars, guys.
It does.
Or mason jars, whatever you got.
Walmart has really cool, they're like shallow, they're probably like 2 inches high by like 3 inches wide, and they have the attached lid with the metal like locking mechanism with the clasp, but they have different color like the rubber rings inside. I think they have red, blue, green.
Oh, that's cute.
Red, blue, and green maybe.
Those are perfect for tea. Airtight.
They're perfect. Yeah, and they're all different colors.
Also, it says skulls are a classic, I guess, witchcore.
Moffat.
Yeah. Classic Moffat. That's the last thing on the list, but then it gets into the clothing.
Okay.
So when it comes to clothes, you're not limited to classic black cape and pointed hat that you wore for Halloween as a kid. Witchcore is a fashion style, and you can create a very stylish wardrobe. Of course, the cape and hat outfit isn't too far off from the style, as it creates the necessary mystery and modest darkness. But in a nutshell, Witchcore clothing is heavily influenced by Gothic style and vintage pieces from the likes of thrift stores and other secondhand retailers. So some of the clothing you could implement into your Witchcore wardrobe include long dark maxi dresses in a similar way to a cape, or a long dark maxi dress in a color such as red or purple, which are Gothic and modest. Lace detailing is a huge thing. Those small lace details on pieces such as a camisole top or a slip dress is an intricate addition, which can set the tone for a piece and add a dainty touch. And I love lace detailing. And I think that's what the one thing that I really loved about 90s clothing is the lace detailing on everything. Yeah. Right?
Agreed.
Those little they were like lingerie style tops.
Yes. The tank tops with they had like the shoulder straps were also kind of lacy, which kind of cut you in the armpit a little bit, but they had the scoop. Yeah.
So those were big back in the day. You
would layer the hell out of those.
So the lace detailing, also creepers and laced boots, especially in dark colors. These shoes.
What the fuck's a creeper?
I don't know.
What the hell's
look it up.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Okay, go ahead.
So creepers and lace boots, especially in dark colors. These shoes are bold and slightly intimidating, and they have a dark and curious style. So what did you find on the creeper? Are those like the what are they called?
Those? Oh, you would know exactly what these are. These are those black shoes with a really thick sole. Sometimes like the toe would have like leopard print on it.
Okay. Yep. I remember these.
Creeper shoes. Whoa. Yeah,
this Wikipedia page says that they're actually called brothel creepers, and it's shortened sometimes to creeper. So it's a style.
We need to look these up.
Yeah, I know.
And like do a episode on brothel creeper.
The brothel creeper is a style of shoe that has thick crepe soles, often in combination with suede uppers. So the part that's sitting on the top of your foot, those is like, that's usually like the leopard print or whatever other type of print that usually is found on a creeper shoe.
Cool.
It says this style of footwear became fashionable in the years following World War II, seeing resurgences of popularity at various times since then.
Weird. I've never heard. I would not have guessed.
The next thing on this list for witchcore clothing is flower crowns. Is there anything more whimsical than wearing a flower crown in the forest?
Fucking adorable. So
I love
cute.
That. I'm all about the flower crown. I freaking love them. White vintage dresses, large ivory dresses are whimsical and free and can still have that gothic magical quality.
I so want to be that kind of like homesteader gardener that can go out and just be in like a sundress. No.
A muumuu?
Absolutely. Yeah, and muumuu. They're cute now.
Yeah.
No way. I would get so sweaty.
And then the last thing on this list is just bare feet.
I can't do that either because we got those fire ants.
Oh shit, that's right. You guys are down south. That's right. So now we're on to witchcore decor. So another fun area to explore within this aesthetic is the interior designing and decor aspect. Your outfit is one way to express your style, but decorating the space which surrounds you is another. And that's fun in and of itself. So decorating your room or even your entire home is a great way to strike the feeling and atmosphere of comfort and can immerse you further into witchcore. So here are some ways to decorate your space. So we've already mentioned this before, but tarot cards, they're a strong visual motif within the aesthetic, and showcasing them in your home makes the most of them. Like I said, you can frame them, you can put them up on your altar space. You can do whatever you want with them and just like put them around, hang them up. It's a great way to bring them in. So apothecary scenes, setting up bottles and similar decorative pieces can create an apothecary-like scene, which can be a great use of space. And I love little apothecary scenes. I set up one in my bathroom for Halloween.
Oh yeah, that one was really cute.
Yeah, I love little bottles, and it's just a fun way to bring in the whole aesthetic. Gilded gold frames and similar decorations can have a very Victorian style effect. And
Lovely.
velvet textiles are a huge one. Dark velvet colors have a luxurious feeling and appearance, and they fit the dark aesthetic of witchcore. Plants, as plants are another great visual, why not adopt some succulents or other houseplants to display in your space? And candles. Covering your space with candles and lanterns gives out a cozy, classic, warm light that'll complement the dark colors in your witchcore inspired home. And if, again, like I said before, if you can't have open flame in your space, or even if you're not good with plants, you can have fake stuff. That is an aesthetic, like that adds to your aesthetic too. As long as you have a little greenery, you have a little firelight, whether it's real or not, it still adds to that aesthetic that you're going for.
We kind of talked about that. We did the Owen's house episode, and like the later half of that episode, if you'll go back and listen to it, if you haven't, we talk all about how to bring the practical magic aesthetic to your own home, and definitely having those rich textiles in your rugs or couches or whatever, and plants. We talk about plants and candles. It's all there. Having the vintage finds, finding those vintage pieces to bring in that aesthetic too. It's really, really simple. But yeah, again, your plants don't have to be real. It's okay. Just bringing in that color, that green, something about green in a home.
Yeah. It's very earthy. It brings in that earthy feel to your home. And Home Depot, I don't know, have you strolled through a Home Depot garden center? Like well, maybe not the garden center. I think like by the register, they always have those little like plant kiosks. Some of them they sell fake plants that look very real. So if you're not good with like watering stuff, because like I know succulents, I'm horrible. Those are supposed to be the easiest plants to take care of, and somehow I still end up killing them. So if you don't have a green thumb, it's fine to add some fake plants to your space. Yeah. So now we're getting into witchcore activities. So coming away from the visual side of things, witchcore also opens up a lot of ideas in terms of activities. And it says, of course, it's up to you how you choose to spend your time, but there are a few starting points you may like to begin with. At the same time, any activity can constitute for witchcore if it relies on the same beliefs and principles as the aesthetic and follows its theme. I don't know if I said this source before, but all of this is from mycottagecore.com.
Okay.
So if you want to go check out this whole article, It's mycottagecore.com/witchcore. Watching witchcore movies, there's nothing like watching a film if you want to strike a certain sense or feeling. And I think this is probably why me and Kristina are both obsessed with practical magic, because it just puts us in, it like immerses us in that whole like feel, right?
It's kind of like a get yourself back on track. Like, what you've been doing lately? Put on practical magic, be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotta go take care of my garden, gotta take care of my house, gotta make sure my family is good to go, gotta put up my wards, gotta,
Yeah,
get
it is a
your
nice,
checklist.
definitely. It is a nice little reminder. Like if you're feeling a little less magical in your life right now, it's a nice little nudge to, when you put that on, it's a nice little nudge to remind yourself that you can find magical in the mundane.
Exactly. And it's a nice little nudge into if you're feeling lonely, like if you have that friend you can reach out to, even if you don't have a significant other, like family, if there's a family you can reach out to. It's just like things families do for each other is fucking wild.
Right.
Exorcisms.
I know they really went to the extremes on this one.
Yeah.
So watching witchcore movies, setting the mood and scene with low lighting, and watching a witchcore film can offer a surreal experience and even increase your interest in the aesthetic.
Yo, tag team that with like tea and candles and just like a good snack.
Yeah.
Some firelight.
And invite over your witchiest girlfriends, boyfriends, like whoever wants to come over and just revel in that witchy goodness with you. Invite them over and make a night out of it.
Yeah.
So learning about potions and spells is also on the list. If witchcore is centered around and influenced by witchcraft itself, is there any activity better than learning about the exact inspiration you're working off? Take the time to read books and blogs about potions and spells and learn how you can do them yourself.
Yeah, even like what we said before about lotions and potions, like it doesn't have to be a ritual potion. It can be something for a more like green way of cleaning, maybe like a floor wash, or it could be making your own moisturizers of some kind, using different oils like coconut oil and mixing in like calendula and lavender and working from there.
Yeah,
that's a potion. Or even cooking. Baking in itself is alchemy.
It is a very magical thing, just being in the kitchen alone.
The other thing is, like, if you are a garden witch like myself, like a potion I like making is like an anti-bug, anti-cat spray where you take like spicy ass stuff, like jalapenos and garlic and onions and apple cider vinegar and shit that they don't like, stick it in a blender and put in a spray bottle and spray your plants with it, because it's a great deterrent.
Yes. Charging crystals. Another magical activity you can do is charging your crystals and learning about what different crystals can offer and how they will protect or heal you. Crystals are something that many people enjoy learning about, so it's worth trying.
There you go.
And yeah, we talked about this before. I think crystals a great foray into the metaphysical world. If, it's not something that you have gone down the rabbit hole on thus far, it's a great way to kind of ease into that if you have some reservations.
As a 90s kid, I feel like every 90s kid's first crystal was a mood ring.
Yes.
I'll just put that there.
I forgot about mood rings.
That shit was witchy.
Yeah.
That was witchy.
I also want to go back to the wand really quick. Do you remember, like, in the 90s, there was a store in the mall called Natural Wonders, and they sold these plastic wands with the familiar stars, and when you it had like liquid in it.
Yes.
Other ways, it was just fun to watch the glitter flow to the other side of the wand.
It's like definitely a meditative practice.
So it says, spend time in the woods. The forest is a mysterious, eerie place to spend time in, and it's the perfect setting for any witchy activities. Spending time in the gloomy lighting amongst nature, even just for a walk, fits the witchcore aesthetic well. And when I was a teenager, there were a lot of woods by my house, and especially during the time when I was really into the craft. And that scene when they take a bus trip to go to that wooded area to meditate and do their thing, that always just I was always oh, I want that group of friends to do that with. Sometimes my cousins would come visit, and we would do that. We would walk into the woods behind. There were a lot of woods behind my house. They have since been torn down, and all of these mini mansions were put in place, and it fucking pissed me off.
For shame.
Pissed me off so much that happened. But that's the memory that I have of like around that time of like the craft, going into the woods behind my house and just kind of being at one with nature. And I don't really
Absolutely.
have that anymore. Like I have to drive 20 minutes up to Watchung to the mountains to kind of like do that.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, I saw your YouTube videos when you moved to your place in South Carolina where you are now, and you have a really, really beautiful like little wooded path behind your house. Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Because I grew up like it's pretty suburban, but behind my house we had a little bit of woods, but behind the woods was like down the hill was a highway, so they weren't like true woods, but we were always in the woods. And then moving to California, everything's like low. Like San Diego County is all like scrub brush and stuff like that, so you're never in any real canopies when you're hiking. So then when we moved here, behind our place is like 80 some odd acres just owned by our one neighbor, and then behind that is like 300 plus acres of farmland and forests and walking trails and like little ponds and shit. So the dog and I go out almost every day, and I've never felt like more connected spiritually. So when like you said, I take you on a little walk in a YouTube video I did a long time ago, but there is a huge reason we bought this house is like in our backyard there's a little tunnel you can walk into the woods, right? And right in that tunnel is a tree that has grown in the shape of an arch, so it's grown up one side, arched, and grew down into the ground again. It looks like a fairy portal. It's like a portal tree, and it's so beautiful. But I guess it used to be like they take saplings and use them for like muskrat traps, I guess. So you bend over a sapling, you tie something to it. Anyway, the whole property is filled with fae, and I'm just here to walk through. Like, I'm just taking care of your space, and I'll be out.
The video that you made of you taking a walk through the woods is so relaxing and like just like so ethereal, and like it's a very grounding video.
Oh, thank you.
If you guys, we should link it in the show notes for sure. So if you guys, if you need to ground a little bit and you want to take a walk with Kristina through her little wooded area behind her house, we'll link that in the show notes down below. And you also did some sketching, like you do like a little sketching too, right? Of like stuff that you find along your walk. It's so adorable. I love that video.
Thank you. I definitely feel like super tapped into the earth, the wood element here. I've never been like a beach person.
Oh, me either.
But here, man, it's so, all the little spaces just have like their own special thing, and it's so quiet, they just know you're there. So we just pass on through.
Girl,
it's beautiful.
You are so lucky to have that around you. I wish I had access to the woods like that again. I did as a kid, and I'm so grateful that I had that as a kid. Because like,
will this be your forever home? Are you in your forever home? Or do you think
where we are now? I don't think so. I mean, we don't have any plans on moving anytime soon, but like, we have dreams and desires and goals. Like we want
that Victorian house you want is not going to be in Jersey.
We want that Victorian, exactly. We want that Victorian house. And there's a lot of gorgeous houses in New Jersey, but it's just so expensive to live here. You
are so close to the city. It's wild. I didn't know you were that close.
Everything. I think New Jersey is one of the most expensive places to live because it is around everything. You go an hour in each direction, and you're either in the mountains, at the beach, in the city, in the country. Like it's in the middle of everything. So, but still, I don't have a nice little acre of wooded area behind my house. I wish I did.
Not conveniently. Someday we'll put it out there that you get that.
Someday, yeah. But one of these days I'll have to visit you, and we'll have to go on a little fairy walk together. That would be so fun.
Dude, that's all I've wanted since like moving here. So there's a few people that have come that I've met out here, and we had somebody living with us over the summer that practices witchcraft, and all I want to do is like, so in the woods, and you see it, I think I show it in the video, there's like a crossroads of trails right in the center, and I'm like, I just want to go out into the middle of the woods with somebody and like yell, I don't know, or do ritual of some kind in this the crossroads as a symbol is so charged, even though that they were made by Tom put these trails in, it's where the crossing happens. So I really want to do that out there.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And when we come back, we're going to dive more into those, those witch movies from the 90s and chat a little bit about all those and the fashion and the aesthetic, and we will be right back.
You're listening to Magnolia Magnolia Street Podcast.
Hey, girl. All right, let me get my dick.
Your dick?
My dick.
Oh, your dick. Get my dick.
My dick.
We're keeping that in. But okay. So firstly, I want to say when this comes out, we will have already celebrated your birthday. Is that not right? Because this comes out the 22nd, I think.
Yeah, it's the 20th.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, girl.
Everybody scoot over to Justina's Instagram and wish her a happy belated, because we didn't plan accordingly.
I just want to say thank you for my birthday present. Now we sound.
Oh, you're welcome.
Now we sound legit. And also, I just want to say that I would be very disappointed to all the people who are invited to my birthday if they don't come up dressed as some version of me, because I saw a meme on Instagram, and it was like a genius birthday idea is to have a me themed birthday party, and everybody has to come dressed as like a certain version of me.
That is going to be so fun. We should do that next year.
I hope there's enough versions of me to go around for like a 20 birthday party. Yeah, I used to be more, I don't know, charismatic. I feel like I'm so frumpy these days.
Like I had on this like off the shoulder thing today with a big bow on it that said Paris on it.
Oh, I still do.
Oh yeah. Look at you. You're not frumpy. Look at me with my greasy rosemary hair and a black sweater.
No, I mean, like, I used to like dye my hair all crazy sorts of colors. Like, I used to cut it all sorts of ways. I'm just like, I don't have the energy this year.
You're beautiful. Do you think you found your comfort, like your I don't know, not persona, but like you don't need to be out so much out there anymore? Or what do you think?
No.
You want to be out there, you just are lazy?
Yeah, I'm just in a lazy kind of mood. I kind of like switching it up every now and then. I think my Sagittarius self gets really bored very easily. So if my hair's the same for too long, I'm like, nope, gotta change it. Gotta do something. Gotta break up the stagnant energy.
Yeah.
So that's
happy Sagittarius season to thee.
Thanks.
You're
there
welcome.
was another crazy ass not a meme, it was like a video. Some lady was like, Scorpios, pack your shit. It's Sagittarius season. Oh my god, hysterical. But yeah,
you just end the year with a bang, man.
Right.
And then it's boring nope, I can't say that. It's just calm. Capricorn.
Yeah,
both my parents are Capricorns.
Okay. Oh,
that's where the childhood trauma comes from.
Oh no, they're very set in their ways. Are they very set in their ways?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. My dad was a former U.S. Marine, and my mother is a school teacher. So
okay,
rules.
Yeah, my mom's a Taurus, so I get that earth energy as a parent.
As per the usual, the Magnolia Street is going to do a tarot, or is it oracle deck? It's your oracle deck.
This is the oracle deck.
The oracle deck.
The Inner Witch Oracle by Grounded by the Moon. Grounded by the Moon. Did I say that?
Grounded by the moon.
How's that shuffling sound on the microphones? Can you hear it? No?
It might be picking it up.
All right.
Stop.
All right.
Ooh.
Rose.
The rose.
This the mantra on this card, or the keyword on this card, is confidence. What? I'm sorry. I'm like blanking. Okay, we're on 90s witch fashion. Got it.
I
have to like regroup and like remember where we're at. All right.
My mind goes to that scene in The Craft where it's the slow motion. It's that Letters to Cleo. I think it's Letters to Cleo. Dangerous type, and they're walking in the slow motion, and Fairuza Balk's like nipples are like pointing right at the camera.
Yeah, they're cutting glass and that.
Confidence.
Yeah. I love that scene so much. That was always my favorite like movie montage.
Me too.
I'm like, they just look so badass. I want to be them.
So cool. She gives the big old kisser.
Yeah. I guess this card is like perfect for this episode, right? Because we're talking about fashion and kind of like, I guess, owning your power and owning your whole, I don't know if you want to call it aesthetic, persona, like just owning who you are, like being comfortable with what you're wearing and using what you wear to express yourself, right? And that all comes down to confidence, I think. So this card is, I feel like every single episode our cards have been so spot on, right?
Yeah, man. Okay, let me write it down. Tell us what the rose has to say.
All right, so we have the main keyword on the card is confidence, but in the booklet, it also says stand up. So when Rose shows up, it is a reminder that you need to be confident and stand strong with pride and determination. It's time to step up and stand firm on the choices that you are making for your life. You know exactly who you are and what you need. Take pride in your actions and beliefs. You need to stay true to yourself. Once you start believing in yourself, the magic starts. Don't forget this. In magic, roses help with protection, love, and happiness, and connection to some goddesses. With a variety of colors and connected meanings, this flower is a great universal magical tool. Utilize the power of the rose to help enhance the magic of this card. Carry some in your pocket or use some rose water spray in your daily routine. And the mantra on this card is, I know who I am. So
Ooh,
that's all about the rose.
beautiful. Very lovely.
Yeah, I love this this whole meaning.
It takes a lot to figure out who you are in a long time, and who you are changes so frequently. And I think we have an episode coming up all about just embracing who you are. So stick around.
Yeah, I heard somewhere that I think like every 10 years you just you become a completely different person. I heard that like your skin, because your skin cells are like constantly regenerating and repairing themselves, that like every 10 years you are actually literally a completely different person. Like,
oh, okay, I heard 7 years.
Really?
I heard every 7 years your cellular makeup is regenerated. And that's crazy because a lot of like your milestones happen on those every 7 years or 7 to 10 years, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And then every 30 years is when, I think every 30 you get a Saturn return, right?
You said that in our first episode. You were like, my Saturn return. And I was like, what the hell is that? What is that?
All right. I'm going to have to
when your Saturn comes back around, because it's every 30 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what your Saturn is in?
Not off the top of my head. The Saturn
is in mine's in Capricorn.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
All right, yeah, neither do I. So this is saying that usually I feel like the first time when you turn 30, that's your first Saturn return, right? And it's often depicted as this like a quarter life crisis, whatever you want to call it, but basically like around that time is when we really start questioning like who we are, what we're doing with our lives, what choices are the right choices for us at that time, who we kind of want to leave behind, because as we've talked in previous episodes, not everybody is meant to stay in your life forever, right? Some people, it's like a revolving door. Some people come in, some people go out, and you just outgrow each other. And it's nothing personal, but like, it's just how it is. But yeah, I just remember my Saturn return was a shit show. I was just like, I went kicking and screaming. I was like, I don't want to turn 30.
Oh.
But like now that I'm 30, I'm like, all right, like this is what it is. This is really not that bad.
I feel like you make a lot of life-changing decisions in your 30s too. Like, do I want to have kids? Am I gonna get married? Am I like really looking at buying a house? Am I joining a cult?
I will take the latter. Or all of that bullshit.
This little description for Saturn, it says Saturn represents limitations and restrictions. It allows us a degree of awareness within the limits imposed by our destiny. The sign where Saturn is shows how we interact with these aspects.
Okay.
So there you go. Let's do a whole thing about Saturn return.
Yeah, let's do a whole bonus episode on that.
Mine says my next return is in 25 years, 2048.
Oh, wow.
We have to ask two Geminis and a Leo. I don't know if you listen to that podcast.
Okay, by the way, guys, we are not astrologers. We're into it, but don't believe anything we say. We're probably wrong about everything.
All right, do you want to talk about some Witchcore in media? I think this is our
where we left off?
Last little bit. We've already mentioned that watching films that fit the aesthetic is a good way to immerse yourself in Witchcore. But that's not the only form of media. So you can also choose books. The other thing we just started talking about is our music, like our music catalog, not just the Magnolia Street album, but we're starting on Discord A, all the songs we mentioned on here, but B, like all the songs that give us the practical magic vibe.
Yeah.
So definitely music. It's so moving. So some films, though, back to the media, some films you can consider are Harry Potter, Hocus Pocus, Kiki's Delivery Service, Fantastic Beasts, The Craft, which we mentioned, Matilda, so cute. A movie called Gwen, which I've never seen.
Never heard of it. Have you heard of it though?
I have not heard of it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one. Practical
Magic, The Witch, which is amazing.
I love that movie.
Black Phillip.
He's my favorite.
I Married a Witch, The Blair Witch Project, The Wizard of Oz, Rosemary's Baby, Eve's Bayou, and Maleficent. I'm sure there are many, many more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So some books you can get into if you're looking for the witch aesthetic are, what is that, Circe?
Cersei. Cersei is a character from Game of Thrones.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's the same Cersei by Madeline Miller. I don't know if it's talking about the same character, but that's how you say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got the Harry Potter series, the All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness, The Green Witch, R.N. Murphy Hiscock, Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman, The Once and Future Witches by Alex Harrow, and Alex is spelled Alix. The Year of the Witching, Alexis Henderson, The Complete Book of Incense, Oils, and Brews. That one doesn't have an author listed. The Witching Hour by Anne Rice, and Beautiful Creatures by Cami Garcia.
So those all seem to be like, I don't know, like maybe adult fiction or fantasy, except for The Complete Book of Oils, Incense, and Brews. That seems a little more on the metaphysical side, not really fiction.
And there, I think you and I should do our own, because these are really great examples, but I have so many books that scream witchcraft to me personally that are fiction, that aren't on this list, and I want to talk about them. So we could do maybe a bonus episode for stuff like that, because really any of Alice Hoffman's books, like isn't Blackbird House one of her books, and like The Secret Garden to me is such a magical book without having any witchcraft in it, but just connecting with like nature in that way.
Yeah, Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen is one of my favorite ones. Aside from Practical Magic, it's the only other book that I've read that has given me the Practical Magic kind of vibes.
I've read that one. I like that one too.
So
I guess let's put that on the list of stuff books we're gonna hit up in the later on.
Yeah. All right. So this article comes from bus.com, and this is all about how to dress as your favorite 90s pop culture witch. And this article is specific to the Halloween season, but if you want to use it in your everyday life and I guess your personal aesthetic, feel free to follow this list. It says the 1990s were a turbulent decade when it came to fashion. On one hand, some trends have stood the test of time and experienced a recent revival, like spaghetti strap slip dresses, scrunchies, and chunky heels. But others, like tube tops, have been consigned to the deep, dark back corner of our collective wardrobes. During this definitive decade, one sartorial style stands out as changing fashion forever: the modern witch. Driven by the rebellious, fearless witches on our TV and movie screens, witchy fashion became its own subgenre through the 90s and beyond. While these women are serious style #inspo all year round, Halloween provides the perfect excuse to channel your inner witch to the max. And again, this whole list is geared toward Halloween, but again, if you want to gear this toward your everyday life and personal witchy style, feel free to follow all of these ideas. So our first kind of area
I have a question.
What's up?
So as stressful as your Halloween season is, would you do what if Halloween was like 6 months out of the year? Like, could you do Halloween all year long?
Probably.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, probably. I don't need Christmas. I don't need any of the other holidays, really.
Yeah. Is Avi the same? Avi's the same way. It's so nice that he's like just as gung-ho for this time of year.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, man. I feel like I always grew up just like playing dress up and just putting on other personas, if not at school, because like in school I would consider myself kind of like a Bonnie. Remember, like from The Craft, or like she was like how she was very kind of like withdrawn and like, you know, kind of shy.
Yeah.
That was kind of me in school. I didn't really put myself out there, and like honestly in school I don't really feel like I expressed my style to the fullest. Like I feel like I definitely held back a little bit because like, you know, kids are cruel and you dress a certain way and, you know, you get made fun of. So I kind of just tried to fit in or not fit in, or blend in rather. Blend in, not fit in,
yeah.
blend in. So like I wouldn't say my style in school was so crazy. I feel like the older I got, the more experimental I got with the stuff that I would wear. So I feel, yeah, more so as an adult, I feel like, yeah, I could dress up all the time. I love dressing up. I love any reason or excuse to
Yeah.
just like dress to the nines and go out on the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was the same way. I just wanted to blend in because of all of the like negative shit that happened in grade school. I was like, I don't know what this is going to be like. And my older brother went to this school and he's 3 years older than me. So all the kids that knew him, like Marco's little sister, like I was already getting picked on. So I was like, no, I don't know what, I didn't want to wear like dresses and stuff. And I don't know if like, when did that term like fluid come around? Because like I felt like I was like out of place if I wore feminine stuff, but all the cool stuff, like all the cool witchy stuff was girly and I wanted to wear it. But I felt out of place wearing it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I think like in the past 10 years or so, probably that term had become more popular.
Mm-hmm.
And it became more okay to be kind of like, if you wanted to be like androgynous, like you don't have to adhere to either, you know, I guess gender norm, whatever.
Yeah.
But express yourself, like Madonna said in the 90s.
Hey, we're talking about the 90s. We got to put that on our playlist.
I know. We got to put that. Yes, absolutely. I love that song.
Awesome. So let's get back to our focuses. Do you want to talk about practical magic and kind of like, we're just touching on this because we're going to do a whole freaking episode about the practical magic fashion and costuming and hair and makeup and all that shit.
100%. Yeah, this is just a little tip of the iceberg, guys. A little tidbit, a little morsel, if you will, because I know I know we're kind of deviating from the script a little bit with this episode. It's not completely practical magic, but we know that's what you guys are here for, so we're going to give you this little bit for this episode to satisfy your hunger. So one of the first focuses is practical magic, and that was from 1998. The costumes were designed by Judianna Makovsky, and she also did Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad, Avengers, Captain America, just to name a few other films she worked on.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So yeah, that's a pretty impressive resume. So Daniel Cohen says it perfectly. They say, with all due respect to TikTok, I am exhausted of witch style. No one's better than dressing like a witch who dresses like a human.
Yeah.
And Practical Magic, a movie that includes a song dedicated to midnight margaritas and also Stockard Channing wearing a rapid succession of enormous hats, is proof of it.
Yeah.
This is from the art. This is hilarious. So it says, besides Nicole Kidman's tiny sets of glasses and the aunt's lavish style, the girl's fashion is pretty sensible. And I have to interject here for a second. Those little glasses, those little tiny lens glasses that Nicole Kidman, I can't even tell you how many pairs of those I had.
Really? Do you have any pictures?
Oh yeah, somewhere. My mom has all of my old teenage pictures, but I have so many of those. Yeah,
we need to do, I need to get a set because then we could do a bonus episode and talk about like the like syrup that they make together when she's wearing them. Does she wear them at the pool too? She is wearing them at the pool.
Yeah, I think, were they orange or were they yellow lensed glasses at the pool?
I think they were.
I feel like
you might
color
be right.
lenses. The ones at the pool I think had colored lenses. I think
they were yellow, and then the other ones are pink, red, something like that in the apothecary pantry.
All right, we'll have to revert back to the scene and see.
I want some now.
Wait, so you were still like very, very young when I guess those glasses were a thing, right?
Yeah, I was not sporting those.
And then theoretically a rom-com, Practical Magic is underrated as far as pop culture witches go and provides an excellent opportunity for a duo costume. Released in 1998, it features late 90s jeans and tank top combos alongside some cute dresses and chunky knits. As most of the film takes place in the Owens family home, the outfits are often nothing special, but they do reflect the aspects of the sisters' personalities, sarcastic and practical for Sally, and impulsive and fun for Rose. Wait, what?
Rose?
Wait,
that was copy pasted. Okay, Jillian is now Rose. Wait a minute. Our card.
Okay, not only the card, but another crossbreed between Practical Magic and Titanic.
Oh my god.
What the hell's happening? We're in an alternate dimension. Yeah, that was not supposed to say Rose. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to say Jillian.
Yeah. Rose.
The key to practical magic costumes is the contrasting hair color of the two women, red for Jillian and black for Sally. After that, there are a couple of options. Sally is usually in jeans and boring tops. By the way, I don't think Sally's tops are ever boring. I think they're so
I think
cute.
they're quaint. Yeah, I think they're very
They're
sweet.
adorable. While Jillian goes for more whimsical feminine dresses. In the scene where they bury Jimmy's body, both women wear maxi skirts and black fitted tops, a look that is easy to recreate. The most memorable scene has got to be the Owens women drinking midnight margaritas. So wear your pajamas, pigtails, and grab a glass for that simple look, which we did on our very live stream.
We did. It's so comfy. So comfy.
We'll have to do more of those comfy midnight margarita live streams.
What did your mom say? You're gonna do a live wearing that?
Yeah. She was like, "You're in your pajamas for a live stream?" I was like, "You don't get it." It's midnight margaritas, Mom.
We next have The Craft, which we kind of talked about already, but that came out in 1996, and the costume design was by Deborah Everton. And they also did Battlestar Galactica, The Abyss, and Spy Kids. So The Craft first hit the big screen, bringing with it the entirely unique school uniform aesthetic, from fishnet skirts and gothic chokers to cross-bearing jewelry. The film featured Robert Tunney, Fairuza Balk, Neve Campbell, and Christine Taylor, Rachel True, and Skeet Ulrich. How cute was Skeet Ulrich? He was a jackhat, but he was cute. So they played, so the main girls' characters' names were Sarah, Bonnie, Nancy, and Rochelle. And didn't Rachel True come out with her own tarot deck?
She did. Yeah.
Oh, we should talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
The four girls were at the center of this 1996 cult classic. This is like the epitome of the 90s witch fashion, which we discussed. These girls were the original beach goths. Oh my God, so true. Beach goth? What a,
wait,
what
that's a term. That's a term too?
Beach goth.
I've never heard of that one.
Yes. Known for wearing oversized black garments with boots and silver jewelry. As a group, they had a highly defined style that each girl put her own spin on, and they used their clothes to mark themselves as outsiders and to validate their witchcraft. They really did make it their own style. So we have black, metallic, and spiky gothic chokers were the prerequisite for the witchy clique. Yes, oh my God, I had to read that 3 times in my mind. From earrings to stacked necklaces bearing your soul and parentheticals and religion in the form of jewelry spread like wildfire.
Dude, I had so much freaking jewelry like that, like crosses and the rosary necklaces. Oh my God, I can't even tell you. Yeah.
Do you still have any?
Oh yeah, somewhere. I have like a little box up in my closet here of like all the jewelry, like some of the jewelry that I used to wear.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, a lot of it is like that kind of stuff.
Oh my God.
I had the little cross dangly earrings and my small framed glasses.
Team Jesus.
Yeah.
The easiest way to immediately reference The Craft is to recreate their school uniform looks. The basics are a plaid miniskirt, a white t-shirt or long sleeve top, and black knee socks or tights. Bonnie favors brown boots and a leather jacket. Is Bonnie the one with the back scars?
Yes.
Okay. And Rochelle is the diver who, right?
Yep.
Okay. And while Rochelle goes for suspenders and Oxfords, Sarah is partial to a vest and loafers, and Nancy is the ultimate goth with smudged eyeliner and cross jewelry. I don't know if the mic was able to pick that up, but that was ultimate
I heard
goth.
you.
Okay, cool. Deborah Everton reflecting on the costume jewelry. So I'm supposing this is taken from an interview with Deborah. They say the idea of delving into the personalities of these 4 girls was very exciting. I was a little daunted at first, as a lot of it is very Catholic school uniform, but after thinking about it for a while, I realized that I can make even the uniforms character-driven, and since they are actually in those uniforms most of the time, that was the important aspect of the film. I went to an all-girls boarding school. Oh, wow. I went to an all-girls boarding school, and the idea of a uniform was just a soul crusher. I can wholeheartedly agree. It was fine so long as you wore a skirt, tights, or knee socks, a blazer, or a sweater, and it had to be gray or blue. I think that took the pain out of it a little. It made girls realize that they could work within the rules and still create an identity. See, that's cool. That's so different than what my school was. So it seems like some private schools have a little leeway as long as it's the basic colors. But they also go on to say, at the fittings, I roughly figured out in my head who each girl was, and I very loosely gave each of them the element for when I got stuck. So I could always go back to the elemental thing. Oh, so do you think she's saying like their elements that they kind of embody in the film? She
like earth, air,
put
fire,
in,
water.
yeah, that she put in their costuming.
Probably.
Neat.
I think I don't remember. I think in the scene where they're walking through that cave onto the beach and they're all holding an animal or like some kind of like thing in a jar or something.
Yes.
I don't remember if it was Rochelle that had the fish, but if you notice, she's the diver, and
she is.
I don't remember if she like calls the corners if she's the water. She hails to the guardian of water. I don't remember if that's her or not, but I always thought it was interesting how like they like interplayed the elements in that whole movie. And even the chant they do in the woods when they go earth, air, fire, water. They were very element driven in that movie, I feel like.
I'm looking it up. Sarah is earth.
Okay.
Bonnie is air.
Is she the one holding the jar with the butterfly?
Yes. Oh, you're right. Rochelle is water.
Yeah.
And that makes Nancy fire.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
That makes sense. So now we're going to talk about Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And that was on from 1996 to 2003. I didn't realize it ran that long.
Wow.
Did you watch it that long?
I didn't watch it consecutively that long. No. No.
All right. I wasn't a super fan of this show. Like I said, I have a bit of a disdain for canned laughter.
Yes, I can understand that.
I hate canned laughter shows. But Melissa Joan Hart was the epitome of the 90s, so
they had so many guest cameos too. It was ridiculous.
I think I do remember Britney Spears being on that show.
Britney Spears, In Sync.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch was costume designed by Kimberly Engelman, Allison McInnes, Greg Filer, Ronald V. Barry, and Philip Maldonado. Wow, it's a team. It's a whole freaking wardrobe.
I think they all did different number of seasons.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a lot because that did run for a very long time. So Sabrina could literally snap through her closet. Note beginning credits where she could change her outfit with magic. In the earlier seasons, we see her in more oversized outfits. Velvet everywhere, see-through tops with tank tops underneath, platform flip-flops, and butterfly clips. Can't forget the butterfly clips. Micro cardigans, and can you say shrugs?
Were they called shrugs?
Is it those like little mini cardigan sweaters that go up to like your ribs?
Chests?
Yeah. Okay.
I did enjoy Sabrina's style in the earlier seasons. I felt seen. Okay. I feel like because she had like that over like the big jeans, the docks, the oversized shirts, and I was like, cool. All right.
Yeah. Like the mom jeans, those are back now too, right? I think the mom jeans back.
I could probably get into those.
Yeah, I have like one pair.
I'm feeling real fluffy things since Thanksgiving.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. All right. So crimped hair, shimmery eyeshadow, and don't forget the crop top. Aunts Hilda and Zelda were fashionistas too. Zelda rocked a full bodysuit once or twice. Hilda was not afraid of feathers or a leopard print. Sabrina Spellman was a risk taker when it came to her fashion choices as well as her spellcasting, and in both cases, the results could be a little hit or miss. She was a true 90s fashion victim, experimenting with cropped cardigans, turtlenecks, collared shirts, velvet and sheer fabrics to varying levels of success. She was also a devoted fan of chokers in their many incarnations, and Sabrina's aunts Hilda and Zelda also wore outfits that were a fashion highlight of the show. They were always dressed in colorful, youthful, and experimental styles, despite the fact that they were supposedly 800 years old.
Right.
By the way, I love their versions of them on the Netflix original. They're cute. I love that show. So Sabrina's most definitive feature was, of course, her blonde half-up hairstyle that she often accessorized with giant bow or clip. Pair that with her quintessential choker, some layer tops, and chunky jewelry. Pull on the most unflattering pants you own. You're good to go. Black cat preferred, but not essential. Nice. I think the black hat is essential.
Essential. Listen, can you and I add to our topics list like the trope of witches and having aunts raise you? Because
Okay.
that's like a bit. So practical magic, and then what is
Sabrina.
this? Sabrina
Yeah.
and the Good Witch. No, maybe not like raise you, but like the aunt is very prevalent in the Good Witch, and Witches in East End. The Aunt Wendy comes back or
Oh, that's
whatever,
right. That's right. Yeah.
like the witchy aunt trope.
There's always a witchy aunt, I feel
There's
like,
always
right?
I want to be the witchy aunt. So this isn't really like a witchy one, but I wanted to touch on just Christina Ricci's character in Casper. I think they just came out with that show Wednesday. I
Yeah.
haven't watched it yet, but I heard Christina Ricci makes a debut or a
Yeah.
cameo in that, and she's just so freaking talented. Just a quick touch on Casper. It came out in 1995 because listen, she can see ghosts. So she's got some kind of like parrot, like sentient, clairvoyant something or other.
And
right?
that castle.
And that castle.
I feel like if you live in a castle, you're automatically a witch. If you got a house like that and you're like the epicenter of your town's Halloween party, you're a fucking witch. I hate to break it to you.
Yes. That young man was so handsome. I wrote down his name initially and then the notes disappeared, so I forget that boy's name.
Oh, Devin Sawa.
Yes, Devin Sawa. Thank you.
He was the 90 it boy.
Thank you. So Casper came out in 1995 and the costume design was by Rosanna Norton, and Rosanna also did Airplane, which wow, I love that movie. They did Angels in the Outfield and Detroit Rock City. Wow. So I liked Christina Ricci's character Kat because she had like such just like tomboy aesthetic. She had the jeans and she would wear like the Henley shirts, which is like a long sleeve shirt with like 3 or 4 buttons, or like just like a sweatshirt. But then she had like a whole few scenes in a wedding dress, and I'm like, you can do both. Okay, you can do both.
Flannel? Did she rock the flannel in that movie? I don't remember.
I don't think maybe, but she also wears like chokers and like super wide headbands. So I consider her like a 90s little witch.
Yeah. I remember seeing her in, well, she was like in all the 90s movies. But Mermaids with Winona Ryder and Cher. Did you see that? Did you ever see that movie?
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorites.
Ages ago.
One of my favorites. And then also she was in Now and Then.
Yes.
That was like an all-star
I wanted to be her then.
Laura Birch and who else was in that movie? There were a couple other girls, famous 90s actors at that time. And I think was Devin Sawa in that movie too? I think he played her love interest in that movie too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I don't know.
I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I could be mishmashing my 90s movies, but I feel like some part of my memory is clinging to that notion.
To Devin Sawa.
Yeah, but like I feel like Christina Ricci was always kind of typecasted. Like she always played the tomboy, right? In like every movie.
Yes. Take us to 1996.
All right, I'll take you to 1996 with some Charmed action. Charmed aired from 96 to 2006. I can't believe it aired that long. I don't remember it going all the way into 2006.
Wow.
But the costume design was by Eilish Zabrowski, Daniela. Oh God, I'm gonna fuck this name up. Schwendenetter.
With a silent G.
Is it Schwentner? I'm gonna say Schwentner.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, Daniela Schwentner. That's a crazy spelling.
Count it.
Molly Harris Campbell. But basically, I have no idea where to begin with the show. It had every 90s style trend I can think of. As any true Charmed fans know, the Hollowell girls channeled similar but distinct interpretations of a 90s style to fit with their personalities. So Phoebe, as we know, played by Alyssa Milano, she's the youngest. She often wore more on-trend and eye-catching outfits, while Prue, played by Shannon Doherty, rocked sophisticated...
How do you know these things by memory? I don't know any of these things.
They're 90s actresses, man. I watched so much TV in the 90s, Kristina. Like pop culture was my jam. Like
awesome.
I was in it. I just remember I loved their style. Their style was like, what all the girls were wearing in high school. It was very trendy, like this said. So Prue, played by Shannon Doherty, rocked sophisticated business chic, and Paige, which I think we established some point before, that was the Rose McGowan character that came in to replace Shannon Doherty when she left.
Okay.
She was a little more conservative with a penchant for mom jeans. And then you had Piper, who was played by Holly Marie Combs. I think her style was a little more earthy, a little more down to earth. I don't really remember too much about her character. She wasn't my favorite character.
Okay.
I was like, Alyssa Milano. I was always Team Phoebe.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But anyway,
Like you're shaking your hand in the air.
Yeah.
Team Phoebe.
But because like I grew up watching her on Who's the Boss. So yeah. So I was like, I love Alyssa Milano.
Angela is the boss.
Angela is the boss. They could all agree on the quintessential 90s fashion item, the crop top. The Hollowells wore crop tops to work, on dates, and fighting demons. These girls were so committed to crop tops, they even wore them as pajamas. And as the season passed, the forgettable fashions of the 2000s crept into the show, but we were also blessed with the arrival of Paige, who somehow managed to make ugly tank tops and bootcut jeans look good. So you go, Rose McGowan.
You go, Rose.
You go, Glenn.
Another Rose.
I know, another Rose.
So many roses.
Yeah, there's a lot of roses in this episode.
Yeah.
So the most recognizable outfits from Charmed consisted of slip dresses, minimalist makeup, straight hair, strappy heels, an outfit that can easily be replicated with the clothes you already own or supplemented by a trip to the thrift store. This would be a killer group costume, but could also work alone, especially with the addition of some homemade props like a copy of the Book of Shadows or a cardboard dagger. Or, just show off your time-freezing powers and vanquish a demon fuckboy at your next costume party.
Fuckboy. And they spelled it with a B-O-I.
I love that word, by the way. That word's
fuckboy.
It always makes me laugh, yeah. All right, so Kristina, take us into Halloween Town because I feel like I only saw that movie once, like ever.
Okay. So Halloween Town is kind of I hadn't watched it in a long time, and I put it on last year for the first time, and I was like, this is cute. This is cute because the main character like wants to be a witch and is like proud to be a witch, and she talks about how it's like an earth-based spirituality, so that's why I liked it. But Halloween Town came out in 1998, and the costume designer was Brienne Gletov, and Brienne also did costuming for Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, and the 1977's The Hulk and Columbo. And I don't have a bunch of notes for this, but I will just say that the grandmother, Grandma Aggie, Debbie Reynolds plays the grandmother, and her costume is like this velvety red, all red cloak, and that is like Whimsigoth peak of existence. And even like the granddaughter, the main granddaughter, she's on TikTok also, and it's really cool. She married the boy who plays the bad guy in the movie in real life.
What?
They got married.
Whoa.
So cute. Whoa. But Grandma Aggie's wardrobe is very Whimsigoth in that film. So one day I think maybe I'll have the courage to do an all red, because Aunt Zelda also does an all red bodysuit at one point. So that's like a power color.
Yeah, man. Like that all I got. Right back to Maria Owens' boots, right?
Red boots, yes.
Right.
Yes. Do you think that red is like, might be a stretch, but like the menstruation blood, that power there?
That's a good point. And also tying to, a woman's connection with the moon is a very powerful thing, I feel like. So
should we talk about the color red?
We might be onto something.
Take us to 1993 Hocus Pocus, because you watch this more than I do, and I feel like I didn't need to put notes here because you could just talk about this movie all day.
Oh geez, there's so much to say about this movie though. But basically, this movie came out in 1993. The costume design was by Mary, I want to say Vogt, V-O-G-T. Not sure how to say her name. Well, first of all, the kids, let's just say, were very 90s kids.
Yes.
You had Max Dennison with the baseball cap, like those, like I don't know, like Jordache jeans,
jacket,
like his big ass jacket.
Jordache jeans.
Yeah, and then you had Thora Birch, which I mean, she was in a witch costume the whole entire film, so I'm not exactly sure how 90s you want to deem that, but
yeah.
If anybody saw the new Hocus Pocus, there's a little bit of an Easter egg. There's a witch in the very beginning scene who Thora Birch, her outfit in the first Hocus Pocus is oddly resemblant of that witch's costume, that other witch's costume. Yeah. So there's a little Easter egg there. And then we have the Sanderson sisters, which I freaking love all of their costumes. Would you consider that Whimsigoth, their costumes in Hocus Pocus?
Yes,
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah,
they
it's
have
like,
all those like jewel tones, like the greens and the purple.
yeah.
And Winnie is red, isn't she? Is she red?
I think Mary was red. Winnie is like green and purple. And then
Okay.
Sarah Jessica, or what's her name?
Is her real name Sarah?
Her name is Sarah in the movie too. Yeah. Sarah Sanderson. She's actually
She's
purple and red.
Got it. Yeah.
Purple and red. Yeah. I don't remember in the first one if her sleeves, because like her sleeves are sheer, but I can't remember if in the first one they were spiderweb, because in the new one her sheer sleeves are have like a spiderweb kind of pattern in them.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think they tweaked the costumes a little bit for the newer one.
Yeah.
Facelift, a little bit of update. But you know, they didn't stray too far from the original aesthetic of what the witches looked like. I think they connected the dots and the span of time pretty well considered.
Right.
But I would definitely consider that some kind of like Whimsigoth, or I don't know if you want to consider it Witchcore. But
I would say they're
like a mishmash.
I would say they're both.
Of all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hocus Pocus, they're a central witchy figure in pop culture. So yeah.
And a killer Halloween like trio costume.
I love whenever I see people pull that off. I've seen there's been a few running around Salem, like a group of people doing that costume. Always like, oh my god, it's amazing. I always wish that like I had like 2 other like friends here to do that, because like I would love to just like pull off the Sarah Jessica vibe.
I was gonna ask you, who would you be? Of course,
I would totally want to be Sarah Jessica,
because you have the voice.
Do I? Oh, like her little lullaby, like come.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always wanted to cover that song in like an eerie like lullaby. I love it.
It's already eerie. How do you make it more eerie? Change the
there's ways.
tone?
There's ways to make there's ways. We wanted to do like a little, me and Avi wanted to do like because we had our band a while ago, we wanted to put like a little bit of a not metal, but we weren't metal at all, but like a kind of like, what's the word, progressive style to it.
Okay. Like a little harder of an edge.
Yeah, like a little bit more of an edge, I think, but still maintain that lullaby-esque feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I freaking love Hocus Pocus.
I know, if you decide to ever do that song, Patreon.
Yeah. hopefully one day we'll get around to it.
Yeah. So lastly, we're going to talk about Buffy. If you think of like a 90s witch aesthetic that we didn't hit, let us know. Maybe we'll talk about it in another episode. And Buffy's not even like I did not watch Buffy. I probably should not be the one talking about this. Okay, you didn't either.
But I know that Willow, who was played by Allison Hannigan, is that her name? She was in American Pie. She played Lily in How I Met Your Mother. She played Willow, Allison Hannigan. She played Willow in Buffy, who her character was a witch, right?
Yes.
The show was mostly vampires, but I think they
had other supernatural stuff in there.
It was like a mishmash of stuff. But yeah, I never watched Buffy. I couldn't never get into it, so I'm also not a very good person to talk about segment.
But that's Sarah Michelle.
Yes, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Buffy aired from 1997 to 2003. The costume design, and again, this is over different seasons, spans. Cynthia Bergstrom, Susanna Puisto, Matthew Van Dyne, and Terry Dredsbach. Wow, what a name. So Buffy's style evolution was as badass as her slaying skills as she transitioned from the girl next door to the vampire vanquishing vixen. Wow, alliteration. Yeah. Most of her outfits would still fly today, relying on overalls, maxi skirts, and fitted jackets, as she alternately worked boho and sophisticated vibes. Willow, and that's who we were talking about, right?
Yes, that's the witch. Yep.
Willow's style was goofy and awkward, with a real thing for weird hats, resulting in her outfits being some of the most memorable of the series. Buffy's most iconic looks has got to be the red pleather pants. Girl, I had a pair of black pleather pants once, and I felt so cool. I wore them to church.
What?
I was also like 12.
my god, I'm crying. Why did you wear pleather pants to church? Oh my god. Is that like a
slick?
Dude, did you ever see that episode of Friends where Ross is wearing those leather pants?
Yes.
He's trying to get them off in the
He
bathroom.
puts the baby powder down his
Baby powder. That's my favorite episode, hands down. Oh my god. All right. Anyway.
Okay. But as these bad boys are sadly not readily available in 2017, was this when this was written? Her other looks can probably be more easily recreated. Buffy loved knee-high boots and socks with a passion. I'm still crying. Hold on.
I'm just picturing you in church with your leather pants. Oh my god.
Add a mini skirt and fitted top, then top off the look with a leather jacket, and don't forget the hair clips. I think add a leather jacket to anything.
Yeah,
and
man.
It's solid.
It's all about the leather, the pleather, everything.
Oof. Y'all, that's what we have for you today for 90s witch fashion and witchcore. I think this is what we're adding onto this episode. Ugh.
Is that it? Is that everything?
That's it.
Wow. All right, guys. So that is about all we have for you for today as far as 90s witch fashion and witchcore and everything that enveloped, I guess, how the typical 90s witch would dress. And if you want to dress like that, bring a little bit of that style into your everyday wardrobe, those are just some tips and tricks and some guidelines if you want to do that. So
and we would love to see it. Send us pictures to our Instagrams. Tag us. Say, this is my 90s witchcore.
At Magnolia Street Podcast.
Yes.
So yeah, we do have a little bit of an announcement. When did we come up with this? Like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago?
No. Like last Wednesday.
Oh, when we did we did our first Facebook Live ever. So thank you to, was it Anna and Kim? Popping on there, some of our patrons checking out our Facebook Live, and they actually came up with this idea. They requested this, so we are doing this for you guys, for the patrons. So if you guys want to join in on our book club, we are going to be starting that up in the new year on our Discord server, and I guess we're going to start with book 1, Practical Magic, book 1.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely, we'll start with book 1. So we're gonna take a little section every month, and on our Discord there is a text channel and also a voice channel. So as we read through for the month, we can talk about it, and we'll get through this book together, and we'll talk about all things practical magic. OG practical magic. We haven't selected a specific start date just because we know like New Year's is kind of busy, but the closer it gets, we'll let everybody know, and then through January into February, we're going to start reading practical magic together. So come along with us so we can talk about it.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. And also, I'm excited to do a screening or something, some kind of watch party on our Discord server as well. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So if you want to join us on our Patreon, we're at patreon.com/Magnolia Street Podcast. You can join for as little as $1. If you want to get in and weigh in on our discussion, take part in our polls and join in on the discussion. You get to help decide what our upcoming topics will be that we'll talk about on the show. And then what's the next one? Our $3 tier, where you get our show notes, everything we talk about on the show. You can get in one little nice, aesthetically pleasing PDF file if you want to download that.
You also get our after hours thoughts, where we talk about like the shit we were thinking about after the episode airs, and like, oh, I should have probably said that, or oh, I didn't know I felt that way. And it's a lot of me being like, Justina is just so great. She's so patient because she lets me read, and Justina's not girl. That's basically it.
You're so much better at those than I am, because I'm just like, the episode's done. We're done. Next one. I never take the time to just like reflect on what we just did.
That air element in my brain is like, you want to go back and like really think about what you said. Was that okay? Yeah. But that's our $3 tier, right? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. No, my fire sign is just like on to the next thing.
You're like,
I don't want to
rehash.
Got
the fuck it flame under your ass.
Fuck Rocket flame. I love that. Yeah. So for the $5 tier, that's how you get into our private Facebook community and our Discord server and join in on all the fun virtual events like our Facebook lives and all that cool stuff. Watch parties, our book club, all that.
You get bonus episodes too. We have recorded a few bonus episodes for y'all. Justina talks about a tarot reading she got. She got another one recently, her trip to Salem. Awesome stuff. And they're like 2 hours. It's a lot of extra content.
Yeah, all of that extra bonus, those bonus episodes, I think those are on the $8 tier, the Hey Rose tier, along with any other audio visual material because
Gotcha.
let's take a little
I'm still learning.
Yeah, those take a little extra time and effort to edit and put together, so those are available on the $8 tier. And as soon as we start doing our song-a-sode episodes, which our next episode coming out is our first song-a-sode episode, we'll start.
So exciting!
Yeah, I know. We'll start putting our songs on the $8 tier as well. So in between all the song-a-sodes, because it might be few and far between, we'll have a lot more bonus episode and content like that coming out for you just to satiate your hunger while you're waiting for more songs. Actually, we had somebody ask on my personal Instagram account like where they can find the songs for the podcast.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I was like, we don't have any yet, but they're coming. Check out the Patreon.
Yeah, they're there.
They're gonna be there soon, guys. We promise. Yeah, the next episode will be the very first one. So hold tight. They're coming.
We have a Gmail, magnoliastreetpodcast@gmail.com. We also have a Twitter where we don't tweet. We also have a TikTok.
We don't tweet at all.
The TikTok has those little clips of some of the show audio. So we have TikTok and we have a voice feature on our Anchor. So if you want to leave us a little voicemail, like the 90s where you had to leave a message on the answering machine, go for it.
We don't have any voicemails yet, but hopefully soon. And on the next episode, guys, we're gonna read some of our fan mail and some of the comments, and some of you guys have weighed in on some of the episodes we have posted already. So we're gonna get to all of those on the next episode. So stick around for that if you want to hear your stuff being read live and on the air. We'll get to that very soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right, I'm toasted. You want to go?
Yeah, man. Cool. All right. So I'm Justina.
I'm Kristina.
And we're the Stinas. And
we'll see you next time.
At that house down the street. At that house on Magnolia Street. Would you go down to Magnolia Street with the wisteria girl? Magic and mystery, so would you go down to Magnolia?